We are now live with episode 4 of the Lost Colonies Rogue Trader mini campaign. So let's go around and introduce ourselves to the viewing audience.
I'm Andrew Van Roy. I have, of course, a channel under my name, Andrew Van Roy, as well, if you are interested. I am playing Kalis Loretti, heir to the Rogue Trader dynasty of the same name. I'm out of southern Wisconsin, so if anyone on here actually is from that area, I'd love to hear from you. Of course, always love to meet fellow role players in the Janesville, Madison area. But that's it for me.
I am Nick Guidati. I'll be playing the ship's high factotum, Lysandros Avenarius. I have a YouTube channel, Ferric Zorn, with an X. Some Within the Ring of Fire stuff on there. A couple Star Wars one-shots. Soon to be a Dark Ages vampire campaign on there for those who are interested. And I'm coming through from South Jersey, right near the Philly area. Just as Andrew said, if anyone is nearby and is looking for a group or needs a spot for one more, hit me up.
So I'm Russell. Fuck my last name. I have no YouTube channel, and I am playing Centessian Sorel, aka Syntech, the acting master at arms right now in the Tempestus Ferrum, or Ferrum Tempestus, whichever way it goes in Latin. And that's what I do.
All right, and when we last left our daring heroes, they had departed Battle Station Hydra. They had taken Kalis Loretti away from the Imperial Navy as they have discarded him. He has been cashiered, dishonorably discharged on charges which he refutes to be false. He's been done wrong and put down. So he has taken his main girl, Janus. Actually, Andrew, how do you pronounce her last name? Because I had her marked down, I believe, differently from what you had.
I think we went with Caprelli.
Okay, I'm gonna update that here if I can find her again.
Also,
I had Carini, but you want Caprelli?
Whatever is easier for you, sir.
Something Italianish.
Do you want Caprelli or Carini? You said Caprelli last session.
We'll go Carini.
Carini, okay. Just so I can introduce, just so I can interrupt my own introduction. So yes, the Ferrum Tempestus has departed from that star system. You have entered hyperspace once again under the auspices of Astrogator Sulpicio Nigrinus. And it does take you about a month and a half to travel through to Port Faux, to your father Lucius's command center, towards this large hive city. It's really like a central hub of the Avernus sector in general. So why don't we go through to the cramped, narrow, steel-girded corridors, the stale, dank air of the Ferrum Tempestus, the flickering lighting overhead, the brass tubes running all across the ceiling, very much like a submarine inside this structure. Why don't we go through and describe how is your character spending this month and a half in transit between star systems?
So, Syntech, I would be mostly training my men. We're talking a month plus, so I would definitely be training my men as usual. And also, getting them used to Kalis being back on board as well, and being the acting commander. That's about it so far.
All right. Well, what's the style of training that you're bringing your men through? Is it stormtrooper heavy infantry? Is it guerrilla sniping? Is it perhaps just a mixed force so that you can be flexible?
Well, I imagine that on the confines of a ship, especially an older ship, that I'd be running them through working their corners, especially their boarding actions through an opponent's ship. How to best go about close quarters combat within a ship, and to work your corners within a hull is extremely important, because every corner is cover. And also each soldier must be trained to be ambidextrous, because whether you approach that corner on your right or your left is very important. So you need to be able to switch your firing hand and which shoulder that you use for the rifle or weapon in general. So every soldier of mine would be, trained to be ambidextrous, to use cover to the best of their advantage, to expose the least amount of their bodies, when they come around a corner, basically. And, also there would be logistics, how code words, military tongue, the least amount of words to bring about the most efficient action upon, a boarding action or any combat anywhere. That would be just a small portion of my training. Not to mention all the basics, which would be, obviously your cardio, your strength training, all those things. And then when we're done with all that good, ballistic fun, we would move into, close up in your face sword, mono sword to sword kind of fun, that kind of thing. So I like my soldiers and my fighting force to be very well versed and to be ready for any contingency, basically.
All right. What is Syntech doing when he's not training? Does he take any downtime, or is he like a workaholic?
Well, basically, since I'm acting Master at Arms right now, I would very much be a workaholic, because I feel that my position right now in the stead of the actual Master at Arms, I need to uphold the best quality that I can. I definitely take downtime because everybody needs downtime. And when we're not training, when the day is over, if you're looking at like a 4:30 a.m. day, waking up, doing your cardio, then moving on to training, moving on to other things like that. At the end of the day, around your 4 or 5 p.m., if you will, service is over. And then what do soldiers do? I mean, we get together, probably play some cards, pour some Amasec, smoke some cigarettes, cigars, what have you. And obviously eat together, that kind of thing. Downtime for me would be going from table to table, talking to my soldiers, feeling out how they feel, morale, that kind of thing. Just having a good time with the soldiers and getting to know everybody, because that's the best thing you can do as a commander for morale.
All right, so Centessian is definitely one of the boys. He cares about his men, and he shows it to them.
Absolutely.
And what about Lysandros Avenarius? What are you doing for that month and a half in hyperspace?
So, after emboldening the men as much as I could in the eve of our exit from space station Hydra, I know full well just how much perception can equal reality as it pertains to the efficacy of your crew. of the people who take care of the tasks that are unmentionable and must get done, but are too low for ones such as we. But equally, I know as the stress from the trial and the encounter with House Perdiccas has died down, I'm very well aware of the long view. I know that we're rushing back as quick as we can to a situation which was already very tense, which is why Kalis's father could not be here. So I'm really worrying and trying to prepare for that. I'm using this bit of downtime that I actually have to reevaluate crew reports, shift people around, get ready to jettison these people. We'll need X number of replacements, looking at expense reports, that sort of deal, and really working myself up to not a frenzy, but just exchanging one stress for another. But as is my custom, often to do. But I do take a great amount of comfort in increasingly more resolute comfort in the presence of Kalis, back where he belongs, where I always thought he should belong, on this crew, on this ship. But when we're in warp, when we're in deep warp, about halfway through the journey, 2/3 way through the journey, my mutation, my whatever it is, I call it different things. My curse, my latent abilities tend to irritate me. I am taking some pills to keep that under wraps, which is driving me further on into the arms and the tender embrace of the God Emperor. Our new confessor, who masterfully defended as best he could Kalis in the trial beforehand, has given me just that much more respect for him, and I'm really starting to, as the the migraines and whatnot are really hitting me hard. The guilt at keeping that secret is weighing on me really hard. So I haven't revealed that yet, but I'm coming close to perhaps caving and doing that. The only other issue of contention with me is I'm paying really close attention when I can, which admittedly is not as often as I would like. I would like to have eyes all the time, everywhere. Keeping an eye on Janice. I don't fully trust Janice. I was able to pick up that she was bought, or at least bribed, in part by House Perdiccas, and while she sided with us in the end, she certainly was not a stalwart ally in the trial itself against Darius and Marcus and Noradine. So I don't know how I feel about her being here yet, but keeping a close eye on that.
All right. And what about Kalis Loretti? Been a month and a half. You've no doubt taken command of the Ferrum Tempestus from Sulpicio, and of course you have Janus to occupy your time as well. So what have you been doing?
Janus actually does not occupy very much of my time. After that first couple of days, I haven't become distant, but I've definitely thrown myself into my work. there are many things that need to be done, of course, now that perhaps I'm throwing myself into my work to avoid thinking about what really happened to me, the shock of all that transpired. 16 years of my life just gone in a blink of an eye. But certainly my biggest concerns are the state of the ship and the state of the men on board. I find them to be, although in good morale, I find them to be very undisciplined. My time in the Navy has definitely geared me towards a more disciplined ship, one where the people follow my orders unquestionably when I give them, making sure that, black market, of course, dealings and all of these underworld sort of things, drugs and this sort of thing are being kept under control to keep the men and women aboard, focused like a sharp edge of a sword. I definitely would consult with our good Mechanicum chief engineer, Turbius, is it?
Yes, it's Pius Turibius.
Turibius. So yes, I would of course speak to engineer Turibius.
Gotta love these Latin names.
Yeah. With Chief Engineer Pius, I would definitely speak with him about the horrible, poor shape that the ship is under, of course. Probably no more than a couple of sentences just because of how busy I am. But it's definitely something I will speak to my father about. Pius.
Pius is in most stern agreement with you. Says, my lord, the status of our great vessel, of its spirit, I assure you, owes nothing to my ministrations. If anything, I have only been able to preserve it in the state that you see it in, the state of decrepitude and unhealth. I have told your father time and time again that he pushes the Tempestus too hard, that it is an old and aged spirit and needs rest, that it should devote itself to higher pursuits, not be chasing, gallivanting across the galaxy, that its macro batteries can ill take this ill handling, that he insists on pressing the Tempestus into battle again and again and again.
I kind of, again, I'm stroking my mustache, kind of in thought of this. Yes, I did not think that my father... I do not want to speak ill of him, of course. He's a great man, but he doesn't seem to know ships like I do, or seem to care. This is the maintenance of a ship of war, of course, is very important to the Navy when I was in the service, of course, and to leave it in such a state is completely unacceptable. The machine spirits clearly scream out in agony. I can hear them many times, just audibly as I walk through the lower decks of the ship. Yes, but I will speak to Father about this. I will make sure that things are, perhaps that more of your brothers are brought aboard to better maintain things upon the ship. Perhaps that rest is needed. I think that is best. You speak wise words, Pius. Your service is know that your service aboard this ship is appreciated and is of the highest importance, of course.
I hope only that he will listen to you with greater reverence than he listens to me or even the spirit of his own vessel. I have I have tried everything to make him see. I've threatened to contact the Mechanicus and tell them of the tortured soul that we are standing within now. I have sent missives to them, and even my superiors have not been able to sway him. He laughs. He laughs at them, as if there's nothing that they can do, as if it were a matter that needed to be forced. I don't know what else to do. I am not a man of force. I'm a man of peace, but he will give me no peace. And you can see that Pius, he's older. He looks older than he is. He's been run ragged trying to keep this ship together, patching it up after battles. I believe we said he's not yet 60, but he looks like he's over 60. His physical parts, at least, and his physical parts are ill-maintained. His cybernetic attachments gleaming and pristine, but he certainly doesn't take care of his flesh very well at all. And he looks terrible.
Yes, Pius, you've done well. Perhaps you look unwell, if I may say so. If I may be so bold, perhaps get a little bit of rest. Take the day off. See to it that your brothers take care of some of these matters for you, at least for the time. Oh dear, I think I've frozen.
No, you're still here for me.
Oh, okay. David froze. Excuse me. Yes, but see to it that you take the day off. Get a little bit of rest. See that your brothers do pick up some of the
reflection.
Hey, David, can you hear us?
We can't hear you, David. Say it one more time.
He's lagging pretty hard. It's latency.
Yeah.
I can hear you, Russ. Can
Yeah, you're lagged.
you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit.
You're very lagged right
Okay.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
you
better
guys
now.
are lagging too.
Okay.
Yeah, you're better now.
Okay, it's the whims of the machine spirit.
Yeah.
I think we're good now.
Yeah, I think we're doing good now. So sorry,
Yeah,
did Price say
it's
anything
coming.
back? Oh,
No, we're not.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if I'm actually surprised we're not that we're still alive, at least according to this.
There's like 5 or 10 minute grace period we get. But in the meantime,
Yeah, in the meantime, there are a few things other than that I do, other than speak to Pius. I, of course, spend a lot of time basically once a week, not very often. I'll spend a bit of time with Janice pacing through the Arboretum, this great, right near the top of the ship, there's a domed, there's like an armor class dome glass ceiling that opens up to the stars. But there's actually plants that are being grown in this almost arboretum greenhouse sort of environment that is very beautiful. Of course, for those who have downtime, of course, many of the men, when they have the free time, will pace through the arboretum, seeing the exotic plant life that exists. Some from old Terra, from Holy Terra itself, but most from other planets.
Yeah. Speaking Enterprise to me right now.
Yeah, but this is one of the leftovers left over from the opulent days of old that this ship used to have when a planetary governor, owned this ship. But I paced with Janice, of course, and I spent some amount of time, but not, of course, enough. Not, of course, enough time. And also, the other thing that I would do is I would definitely I would definitely actually oversee some of your trainings, Syntech, of the men, perhaps even in a very awkward fashion, participating with you as well to kind of get my own skills up.
No.
Again, because of how superior I am to a lot of these men, it's probably very awkward.
How superior you are to my men?
Like superior in terms of rank, not necessarily in terms of skill. I definitely have skill. Mostly my skill is, it seems my style seems to be almost a brash sort of gunslinger sort of style. A hand cannon in one hand with an Archaeotech pistol in the other.
Then, as soon as I noticed you anywhere near my trainings, I would include you and bring you in and, tell my men, well, they would know who you are. But, I mean, immediately I would introduce you to everyone, tell you who the best of the best is, and this is my best man. He does the best, and I would put you right behind him, right next to him, and I would say, "Follow Kalis. Protect Kalis. Do what you can." I would make you a VIP within my training regimen, and absolutely, there would be no awkwardness whatsoever.
Well, I'm sure that the men would feel a little bit awkward having someone of such high rank. But yeah, definitely, I'm the type that goes in guns blazing. Certainly, probably again a little bit too brash, a little bit too open, a little bit too exposing of myself.
But that is perfect. That's perfect for the training of my men who all leapfrog, right? They leapfrog into combat. They protect all each other. And all of a sudden you have someone who's a VIP who wants to jump ahead, earn the glory, be everything, protect that man. Protect that man. You wouldn't hear it, but I would say it, protect him at all costs. Moving forward.
Yes. However, my hand-to-hand skills are perhaps they leave something to be desired. I definitely use a mono sword, but although I certainly have some amount of skill with it. I definitely lack the strength behind it. I have a very lanky. I can actually bring up a screen share, but this is Kalis. Of course, he stands at a not very imposing figure, but he seems to have more height than he actually does just because of his presence. He stands at 5'9", black hair that's of course combed back. He has his luxuriant mustache that he of course oils daily. I have a pallid sort of skin tone that is again of this may be a bit of
in space.
effect. Yeah, definitely spent my life in space, but that I've come from many generations of spacers before me, so perhaps there's a bit of respect between me and other fellow spacers as well. But again, I'm a very lanky, kind of not very tall, but very kind of almost wiry thin. Certainly, I don't have a strength behind any sort of blow that I do give. But the other thing you notice too is that I still wear my Imperial uniform. No buttons, of course. I wear over it. I just have that uniform in the blue and gold of the Imperial Navy, which again could be very weird. Stripped of all medals, badges, of the epaulets, of course. So perhaps strange, but that's kind of the style that I seem to have gone for.
Well, give me a minute. Hold on. Sorry. Switching tabs and all right, there we go. Well, here's the thing. And what Syntech would tell you is that is not always brute strength that wins the contest. It is often quickness and agility that will bring you victory. You know, if you test yourself in training against, you know, my men, you know, with blunted swords, of course, which would cause no harm. You know, I would embrace everything that you are, and of course try to improve you in every way, which is you don't.
Definitely when you say like, oh, you know, it's more about finesse, I kind of like raise my eyebrow at you. Uh, I do not understand what you mean. And this is, of course, your best man in hand-to-hand combat just whoops my ass. Probably sends me reeling onto my backside as I get hit right across, right across the face by, a backhand. But like maybe the man even feels a little bit awkward about the whole situation. Sorry, sir. Perhaps a little bit surprised that you could get the upper hand on me, but I kind of look a little upset for a second, but kind of smile.
No,
this is a good man you have here. He's he has much skill.
Well, no, I know who you are, and they know who you are, and before you ever did this, I would have trained them all to, yes, take their best to you, but as well not, overbear upon you. So with strength. And the main thing is that, not to overcome you with strength, but to improve upon your fighting skill hand to hand. Mm-hmm. Which would mean basically with you is that you need to learn, if you don't have the strength, then you need to have the agility and the quickness to dodge out of blows and to strike from somewhere that is the unexpected. And that is what I would try to impose upon you, because every warrior is different. There is strength. There's overbearing strength, which is brute force, which just overcomes. And then there is, the dodge, the move, the disappear, the behind, to the side where I cannot see. And the blade that sneaks in from the side also is as deadly as the most powerful blade. And that is what I would tell you. And my men would as well, the ones that are pure strength, pure brute strength, they would tell you that. And the others who are agility and quickness as well as you would gel with you and tell you the same thing and say, yes, this is your strength. This is your, adhere to this, Kalis. This is where you should go to, because you may not have the physical strength and physical muscle to overpower, but you have the quickness. You can move out of the way of blows and strike from an angle unknown and take your opponents unaware.
I kind of, again, you saying that kind of raises an eyebrow. You're saying that I lack physical strength. I kind of blow out my mustache like a little bit when you say that. Well, regardless, this has been quite enjoyable. I will have to see you later. Of course, I have many things to attend. It has been interesting.
Lord, if I must, one more statement before you leave.
Yes, of course, Intech.
Strength is not everything on the battlefield. Your mind is the most powerful weapon. Anyone with no intelligence and all the muscles in the world can come at you and strike at you with the most strong attack. And if you stand there and let it happen to you, yes, you will fall. But if you are stronger than him mentally, you can dodge that attack. and come in where he is not aware of you and end his life. Your mind.
I kind of look up at the huge man that is Olympio, your best man, who's both very strong and very good at, again, that close fighting, boarding action. I kind of like look up at this gigantic man who just sent me flying. Well, yes, I suppose that is true. Brute strength will only take you so far, but that is why I am, of course, the captain of this ship, and my Olympio here is a fighting man aboard. He does what he does well. You've done well, Olympio.
Absolutely. A well showing, my lord.
See to it that this man gets a well-deserved rest and perhaps some time in the arboretum. He can have, of course, one of the fruits that grows up there. I've seen that they are most delightful.
As you say, my lord. As you say. Salute, Kalis! And then all the men salute you.
And I kind of take this, in stride. Of course, this is to be expected.
By the way, the salute, as I see it in my mind, is across the chest, fist across the chest, and then full on, Hitler.
You want to do the double Hitler gimmick?
No, not double. Yeah, it's the right arm across the chest, and then the fist into the air, right?
Okay.
So like this. So
Yeah.
like this.
I'm not
Exactly.
doing that on camera. I'll incriminate myself. I'm too blonde and too square-headed for that.
No, it's not that I have anything to do with Hitler, but I mean, like,
I just don't want it on video that I'm doing it. That's all.
well,
Okay,
Andrew did it perfect. It's across the chest and then straight out.
Okay.
It's a pretty powerful salute, but anyway.
It's a good salute.
Continue.
I shouldn't have said that. I'll be incriminating myself. Wait. So Centessian, as Andrew said, perhaps the name of that swordsman is Olympio Iustinus. What about your best stormtrooper, the Marine you sent forward with him? Would that also be Olympio, or do you have another strong contender?
Well, we might as well make him Olympio, because the point man in boarding actions should be well versed in ballistic skills as well as close combat.
All right. So Olympio is kind of like your ace. He's the best sword fighter. He's the best tactician. He's the point man, the stormtrooper.
Well, let me put this way. If we were launched from the Jeffries tubes upon the Ferrum Tempestus, to board with an opposing ship and landing upon that other ship, or whatnot, Olympio would be right with me. He'd be the man behind me. If I should die in combat, Olympia would be the man in command.
All right, your backup character.
Exactly.
And you said Olympia was very respectful towards Kalis. He's really minding his P's and Q's. He knows his role, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, and most of your men are that way, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Excellent. And I can also see Kalis. I can see Janus maybe showing up for the tail end, watching you and Olympio, and she's kind of like, looking up, and Olympio just smacks you in the face with that blunt sword. You just go down, your mustache is bent crooked by the impact, and Janus is like, oh, and she's got all this concern. And maybe you'd look over and flash back to your naval training and remember, like, you were getting beat on, you were sweating, doing push-ups, you were doing laps and obstacle courses, and she didn't have that kind of sympathy for you then. I mean, she was in it, doing it with you, but she didn't have that kind of preening sympathy that she seems to suddenly have developed towards you. So I don't know if Kalis would think this is a good thing, or a bad thing, but
Can I interject? I mean,
yes.
I mean, Syntech is a good judge of character, right? A good judge of maybe not, personality, but of warrior ability.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to retcon it to the point to where he's not facing my champion, but at the same time, I wouldn't throw him against my best. Unless Kalis wanted my best.
Yeah, so we can say that instead I went up against Luxuria, I think her name is, or Luxia.
Sure.
Yeah, Brucius or whatever.
Seems to be one there that's
I go up against
I just want to make it. I just want to make it very plain that I wouldn't throw my most fucking massive muscle bound bitch against you. I mean, like, seriously, I don't. Why would I do that?
Regardless, let's say even if I go up against your fifth best, okay, I still get my ass handed to me.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the way that's going, hell yeah. All right.
Yeah. So it's of course kind of embarrassing, perhaps. She this did you say Brucia, or was that the name?
I just came up with it.
Bruscius, I think.
Luxuria Brucius or Bruscius, yeah.
Yeah. So she hands my ass to me. This was something that
if it's a girl, I could see almost like some jealousy even from Janus.
I should have shut up.
You're locking blades and maybe coming in face to face, and she's trying to grab your elbow, and Janus is like, is she grabbing my man? Is she trying to get an arm bar, or is she popping a feel on my man? So I could see like just a little twinge of jealousy in that as well. And I'm imagining a Luxuria is like this enormous steroid enhanced, a square jawed woman with like a hair all up in braids close to her head.
Yeah, even I don't know the physical capabilities of Janus, but she might even be better in close quarters fighting than me. That was the area that I always got lower grades in. I got passing grades, but they were always lower grades.
I'd like to think you're like even with Janus. Like she beats you half the time and you beat her half. So there's almost could be like a rivalry there. Whereas Marcus might have been like just a hair above you too.
Well, how would you feel, Kalis? How would you feel if I if I invited you back? I mean, it's only your first session within the ship, within your family, within the dynasty, that I've invited you to not invited you, but you came down and you were seeing, and I invited you down to fight with us. This is only your first time, and you've seen the skill that we can offer as a fighting force. And obviously Syntech is feeling, I hope Kalis is impressed, but at the same time, I don't want to put you off. I want you to come back and train with us more. How would Kalis feel about that? Because I would tell you that.
So you're
yeah, absolutely. I would say, Kalis, please come back and train.
I kind of look perhaps slightly abashed, especially after getting my butt handed to me. But I kind of like the mustache that was kind of like set, kind of almost not broken, but like the wax got all messed up, and I'm kind of back in place, sitting there putting it back in place. Well, yes. I'll be very busy. You understand that there's a lot of matters to be taken care of, but I think it would do me some good. I think to come back and train, and perhaps even Janice here can come back, and perhaps we can have about. What do you think about that, Janice?
You can see her like glare at you across the training field, and she just kind of rolls her eyes and shakes her head as if like you must be joking.
Yes,
she
it
won't
looks
even
like
like walk
Janice
over.
is very I kind of like, of course, jokingly at her, like kind of giving her a look. Yes, yes, she looks. I would say she looks like that would be very appropriate. She would enjoy that very much. It's of course
Absolutely.
important for all of the men aboard the ship, regardless of their duties, to know some amount of defensing in case the ship is boarded. Of course, it was good to talk to you, Syntech.
Absolutely, my lord. And thank you for being with the men. They
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
it more than you think.
Yes, yes. And once
Please.
again, like my mind is already occupied with my next task. Not that I'm disrespecting you, of course,
No,
but like
yeah.
already my mind is already on something else. Yes, yes, of course. It's been good. Come along, Janice. You show me what the sensor. I need to see what the sensor logs again. You need to make sure you're keeping up on that.
I could see like the Marines there saluting as you're
Yeah.
heading off, very disciplined.
Yep.
And perhaps if you converse with them, they would be telling you Centessian has really brought all of their game up, and that they wouldn't be able to do some of these things a few months ago when the previous Master at Arms was in charge. But as you leave, Janus would look very concerned. Say, it was good of you to humor that man, Kalis, but I hope that you were joking about going back there. Such sweaty pursuits for one of high station.
Well, yes, and I kind of sort of quietly to her saying, yes, yes, it's of course, it's never really been my thing. That kind of physical exertion. It's never been. I guess you could say my way. It's a bit beneath me, but it is important that we keep good relations with all of the people aboard this ship. All of my crew members need to see me as a leader. This is very important. You understand? And I have to admit, I wouldn't, of course, say this in front of the men, but I think my skill is a little rusty, to be honest. It's not quite what it used to be.
Well, Kalis, that's why you're a great leader, though. You must delegate these tasks. I mean, remember what they told us to the academy about fraternizing. I mean, this Syntech man is clearly very ambitious. You saw the way that he was trying to get his men to look up to him, the way they idolize him. This could be a man looking to rise in station. No wonder he's trying to get your ear. And you must remember to keep these people in their place, my love. We cannot afford to be distracted when we have important dealings.
Yes, yes, of course. I understand, my dear. Well, yes. Perhaps you're right. I already look, again, I look almost like I'm distracted. But those sensor logs, we really must go over those again.
And she kind of rolls her eyes, like maybe she's been getting a little bit lazy in her duties since, transferring, if you will, to the Tempestus. But she will certainly take you back and through that as well.
And I don't know if you weren't here for it, but I did say that I don't actually spend a huge amount of time with Janice.
Yeah, I know.
I spend about like maybe once a week, kind of. Mostly it's over job-related stuff to her
Oh,
position.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And, well, once a week we have the actual alone time we spend in the Arboretum, or, in my quarters. But other than that, like, most of the rest is very sort of professional, like, great stuff. But regardless, that kind of happens, of course. Other than that, nothing else really happens for my character until we get to Port Fox.
All right.
While this is occurring along with many of the other events transpiring throughout the vessel, I will take time to seek out Labrax.
All right, Labrax, the master of small craft, I believe.
Yes, the wing commander, or perhaps not quite yet wing commander, but yes, indeed, as I go about my many duties.
All right, what is it? You probably will find Labrax in amongst. He also, is spends a lot of time with the other pilots. So much like Syntech, he has a good relationship with them, or at least a close relationship. Syntech's men certainly seem to look up to him a lot more than Labrax's. Labrax's men, he's really one of the boys, but in such a way that that they don't look up to him at all. Like Syntech's always seems to be keeping himself somewhat impartial, and Labrax is just down in the dirt with them, just like very informal style of command. And he'll kind of look up from his card game. He's got a cigar hanging out of his mouth, and he'll do a salute, like a really half-assed salute, and kind of he'll fold his hand out and kind of saunter over to you.
And I don't, as he's I call out to him, Mr. Silas.
Lysandros, how are you doing?
Walk with me.
He looks kind of uncomfortable, but he does fall into step with you.
And I'm walking through, and I don't even look at him as I'm handing data sheets. I'm looking at sensor readouts and things. I'm tending to my duties. I'm so busy. But I walk and I talk as I walk. As we go through the corridors and the galleys and the rooms and alcoves and whatnot. I must confess, Mr. Silas, when I first brought you aboard this vessel, I had thought perhaps that your epithet of vulture was something of a prophetic one. Perhaps I might have been in error in allowing one with such a storied past as you aboard this illustrious vessel. However,
he just kind of looks at you like who are you to talk to him like this? He's just got this look of complete disbelief at this.
While I find your familiarity with your crewmates to be unorthodox, I'm a man who can see value when it is presented before him. You have piqued my interest and my respect for your initiative aboard the Hydra, your suggestion at disruption of the Perticus vessel has been something that I have been pondering in the many days since our departure. I know you wished, when I brought you aboard, you had expressed particular interest, a keenness to work with, to speak with our illustrious Lucius, where we are speeding now towards. Is this still true, Mr. Silas?
Listen, Lysandros. Lucius is the boss of this ship. And just because he's not on the ship, that doesn't make you the boss. Not of the ship, and not of me. Lucius is the only guy that I answer to. He might have put Sulpicio in charge Sulpicio respects what I can do behind the controls of a vehicle. That's the only reason I'm here. And I'm not here to listen to you ponder anything. And if you've got a problem with that, bring it up with Lucius. Because he's the only man that I care about. He's the only man I want to talk to about anything. So do we have business, you and me? Or are you done?
And with that, I sort of straighten up and I frown. That depends, Mr. Silas. I'm offering you perhaps an opportunity. Whether or not we have business depends upon your interests. You had expressed an admiration for Lucius. He is not here, but we will shortly be rendezvousing with him. There's business that is being attended to in the adjacent sector. Your initiative, as I said, piqued my interest and you some degree of respect from me. Perhaps you might be suited, if you have the desire for it, to hear more. There are many assets, many operations that this dynasty must keep on top of, must be aware of. Less than amicable departure from the naval station has closed certain avenues, perhaps for us for a time, but has possibly opened up other doors. I know you and the Imperial Navy there's not much love lost between you.
Yeah. That's the only thing you said so far that makes any sense. If you got a job, a mission for me, you spit it plain. That's it. I'm here to fly ships. If I don't fly, I die. If you don't do your job, I don't know what happens to you. But I've been doing my job a long time. I'm still alive. If you got a job for me, tell me.
I need to find a person, a woman.
Hey, don't we all?
I don't smile at that. She has something of a reputation in the Aberna sector.
So it sounds like my kind of girl. Who is she?
Her name is Saturio Sarius. She has something of a storied past, much like yourself. And from what Lucius has planned for this vessel on the horizon, we may need one with her skills. Given your, like I pull up, like on a data sheet, like his own like crew report. I believe in your tenure aboard the
Vulture. That's why
Vulture.
they call me the Vulture. Because I'm the last one left who stayed true to the crew.
I nod at that. I believe your ship had dealings in that sector. Are you familiar with a man named Strasser Lee?
I think I heard of him.
He has provided individuals for the Loretti clan in the past. They have been profitable. I have learned to listen to his suggestions and to keep a close ear to his dealings. If you could depart upon our docking the next station. Find this woman. I will provide you with details payment for Strasser. I cannot spare anyone else. Perhaps your history with the man, the reputation of your former vessel, might smooth, perhaps cheapen the negotiations. Perhaps you might as well find other stock for us that we might use. There are very dangerous but very profitable jobs on the horizon, Mr. Silas. Lucius has been planning these for a great long time.
This job comes from Lucius. If I ask him about this, he'll tell me the same thing, right?
He will.
Oh, this isn't exactly what I signed up for, Lysandros. I signed up to fly ships, to train your pilots. I didn't sign up to be a bounty hunter, but I have done some bounty hunting in the past.
This woman is as I understand it, a pilot herself of no small skill. But perhaps another pilot would be able to better assess her usefulness.
I'm pretty good at assessing the dames. So what exactly do you want her for? I need to know what I'm getting into.
I pause. Seconds and mull it over. Then she's something of a, well, there's some skill with engineering as well as piloting skills. Something of a thief of sorts. Something of a privateer of her own in her own right. She has developed, as I understand it, certain mechanisms, certain programs, and I don't understand the verbiage of it, but she has knowledge of bypassing certain ship security systems.
All right. Now, I've done a few jobs before that involve black market tech. Is this something that's going to fly with the Mechanicus, or is this something that they're going to tie you to a gear over and break all your arms and legs?
They would no doubt disapprove.
Oh, that's very dangerous work.
As you know, Mrs. Silas, this life is one of danger, and the most profitable actions are often the most dangerous.
You got a picture of her?
And I hand over like a data sheet for her.
What does she look like?
So she looks like the life, aboard or on the Expanse. The life at the fringes has totally left its mark. There's definitely a sort of savage quality to her, attractive in a perhaps savage, ruthless kind of way. An absolutely, there's no doubt on her face. With she has some scars. She's got like a brand on just beneath the ear, maybe a couple like tats and piercings and whatnot. Looks like she rough and tumble smuggler type, doesn't, an independent woman aboard the on the fringes of society.
You can see Labrax's eyebrows kind of raise, and he looks at the picture. And he takes it. Mwah. Do you believe in love at first sight?
I don't respond to that. I just sort of quirk an eyebrow at it, at his actions.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to clear this with Lucius, but I'll take your mission.
Pleased to hear it.
You're not as bad as everybody says you are. And
And like I pause, and then I
he
just I give him like the littlest of like a smirk. And like, all right, like that kind of deal. All right, you can do that.
Yeah, and he'll shake your hand quite vigorously as well, and kind of smile. And he keeps like glancing down at the picture. He's smoking his stogie. He kind of goes wandering off with the picture in the direction of his bunk.
All right, perfect. And that's just one thing of many. I would certainly be looking for I don't know if Janice is if she's kept away in her gilded cage with Kalis, or it
I
sounds
think Kayla's put her to work. It sounds
Yeah.
like he put her to work
Good.
on the crew.
how's she doing?
She's very competent.
Okay, all right, good.
Certainly more competent than our last censor officer.
Yes.
So, yeah, at some point, if it is possible, during our our warp jump, I would run into her.
All right. Well, let's. This is a good time. We'll let our 5-minute halfway
Sure, that's fine.
point break, and then we'll come back and we'll hit you and Janice. And I think once we come out of hyperspace, Lysandros, you'll probably be the one to receive that message initially. You know the message you're going to receive, and then you can break that to Kalis if that sounds good.
I mean, if I don't want to like hog the spotlight. We don't have to do a scene with Janice if that's
The way I was thinking,
It's all good.
no, that's fine. I was thinking, yeah, I would just describe like you're on the bridge, and I'll describe the bridge for you, and then
Yeah.
you can have your scene.
I want to see the bridge so bad.
Yeah, you can be on the bridge. I'll be in my quarters at that time.
Hell yeah. Sounds good, man.
All right,
So yeah, let's
5-minute
hit
break.
our 5-minute break first, though, if it's okay.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. I'll see you back in 5. Stretch your legs.
Yep.
So Nick, you've become a quest giver. Labrax will now go and assemble a team of adventurers.
You saw the exclamation point above my head. We're off, we're offloading some people. We need to replenish those numbers.
Sure. Do you want to hit your scene with Janice? I don't think we need Russ back for that.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to be brief.
I'm here, and
okay.
do actually want to hear the scene.
All right, so maybe you track her down on the bridge, and then Andrew can narrate what the bridge looks like.
All right. Our scene shifts to the bridge of the Ferrum Tempestus, the Iron Storm. And this bridge certainly lives up to the name, Iron Storm. For this ship itself was built originally as a ship in the ancient days of yore, as a ship of war. And this ship is an armored bridge. Everything about this bridge screams just solidly built protection. All the consoles are heavy and bulky. There's definitely the smell of polished metal in the air, but polished iron. The screens on all the consoles that surround, that kind of form a circular sort of shape around the bridge, are lit up in a red color that definitely glows off of the faces of those who are busy working the machine spirits of this great and venerable ship. There are the occasional tech priest can be seen ministering to the various, applying the sacred ognates, the sacred oils to the machines to coax more efficiency out of them. They work almost seemingly endlessly on the various aspects. Even the cables and the brass communication pipes are very heavily protected, layered in layers of steel and iron. But again, everything about this bridge is solidly built. The viewing port to the outside space even is fairly narrow for the bridge of a ship. You're only able to see, of course, in a sort of 180 direction in front of you, but it's fairly narrow, again, to get that maximum amount of protection out of the bridge. All of the chairs are definitely not comfortable to sit in, but they're stockily built, and they have a bit of cushion, but more importantly, they had straps that during battle you can put across yourself to, if there is shock damage, that you simply won't go flying out of your chair and across and hit something heavy and sharp. That's definitely the feel you get. The one thing that does stick out about the bridge, though, is the captain's chair. It seems almost like it was put in as an afterthought, or perhaps put in years later, but the captain's chair is very large and it looks very comfortable, almost kind of, almost like half of an egg shape. But again, it still has those straps that can keep, the captain from flying across to his death.
Is it floor mounted or hanging from the ceiling so he can scoot himself around, look down on everybody's workstation?
No, it is gold. I can't say the word. Intricately wrought in gold inlay, and there seem to be almost like scripts that sort of run down the side in the ancient language, of course, of Latin, that is used to praise the god emperor.
High
of
Gothic
mankind.
as opposed
Yes.
to low Gothic.
Yes, indeed. But again, it sticks out definitely. No, this chair is mounted securely to the floor. It does not move whatsoever. But again, it does stick out as something unusual, perhaps, with how decadent it is. It's such
So-
a yeah.
So
Very practical bridge.
let me ask, how large is the bridge? Do we have dozens of men moving around with yeomans and technicians, or are there just like a select few, maybe 5 people, and their commands will go out to substations around the ship? How tall is the ceiling? Is it tight and claustrophobic, or do we have room to like look around through those that slitted view station?
Yeah, it would definitely be. It would be cramped, but mostly because everything is so heavily, again, protected. The wiring that would be exposed in most ships above your head in a high voltage sort of bridge is now just layered again in that protective, anti flame retardant sort of material, but also in metal and steel. So it does have, again, almost as you said, a submarine sort of quality to it. This sort of red, dim lighting that comes across. And yeah, in this particular case, this bridge would usually accommodate a lot of technicians, especially during a battle. People would run to battle stations and quickly take up their posts. But in this case, there are perhaps only 5 or 6 regular crew members, bridge officers serving at the moment. Perhaps the helmsman, the master of ordnance, are aboard the bridge. But other than that, there's probably not a huge amount of other people, other than a few technicians. Again, some amount of tech priests garbed in the red and white of the god, the machine god, of course, doing their prayers and chants softly to the low hum of the engines in the background.
All right, so Lysandros, you find Janus Carini hard at work there. She's doing some sensor calibrations. Of course, in hyperspace, what you can actually detect in sensors is largely illegible. That's why we depend upon Sulpicio to guide us so much. But of course, we've got to bring things up to naval standards for Kalis, and that's why everyone is still working pretty hard despite being in hyperspace.
Okay.
So how do you approach Miss Carini?
I watch her as I'm also on the bridge at this time, looking over certain aspects of the ship's operations. And I, approach behind her and Ms. Carini, I'm happy to see you familiarizing yourself with the ship's systems. How do they compare to your experiences aboard the naval stations, the naval vessels in which you were assigned?
Back.
Okay.
As you are watching her interacting with some of the other crew, since between herself and the other crew members, as if she has been just brought in as an outsider, a close personal friend of Kalis. So there's a little tentativeness from the rest of the crew around her.
Okay.
But she will turn to you, and her features kind of soften. She smiles politely. Lysandros, it's so good of you to come and check up on me. Yes, the systems of the Tempestus certainly match up quite well. I mean, there's a lot of calibrations to look after, but I'm sure we'll have it in ship shape in no time, and it'll be a match for any naval vessel.
I'm quite certain we will. Naval training has been a great boon to the bridge operations here. How have you found the accommodations thus far? I trust everything is to your liking thus far.
Well, yes, everyone's been very, very kind to me.
I'm happy to hear that. And as I say that, like, sort of, put my hand, like, gesture, like, come, like, let's walk.
She'll set down her data slate and follow you through. Again, the bridge very cramped. There's people kind of pushing by. The occasional servitor, that zombie cyborg, which is our robot stand-in, will shuffle past.
I'm happy to hear that. I know how difficult these last few weeks must have been for you. No doubt, perhaps even more trying upon you than dear Kalos. He has returned to his home family. Well, it warms my heart to see that you have made a choice to follow him, despite the difficulties and uncertainties it has caused you.
That's kind of you to say, Lysandros, to check up on me, but one ship is much the same. I mean, in the Navy or here, the only real pains were when I was assigned to ships away from Kalis, but I'll never have to worry about that again. I mean, it's a dream come true to know that I have a place, somewhere that I can put down roots.
And I'm like, I'm eyeing her, and I'm putting on a smiling face, and I have that demeanor, but trying to sense any bullshit from her. Whether I do or not, I continue much the same. But I'm trying to getting more of a judge of her character now that things have changed here. How much can she be trusted? But I suppose you are.
Oh yeah, so
right.
you can make a scrutiny test against her,
Okay.
certainly.
I certainly will indeed make the attempt.
That's a perception if you don't have scrutiny. Although I hope that you have scrutiny. I know the rule set is not always kind to us in things that we really should have, but
yeah, I'm gonna roll that again. Use a fate point.
Okay.
That's better. Success. Not by any degrees of success, but a success.
All right. You can tell she's definitely trying to put on a brave face, kind of sweet talk you a little bit.
All right.
She seems to think you have Kalis's ear, and she's being extra nice to you. So she might not, in fact, be as happy as she's letting on, but she's trying to present a good face and not be a complainer.
Okay. So all right, that's fair. Fair. And I can tell he cares about you very much, and you for him. There's a rare luxury that any of us to be blessed with in these times, in this part of the galaxy where things are so uncertain, so dangerous at times. I sort of nod again, almost to myself, sort of thoughtfully.
She kind of blushes and smiles as you say that, and looks up at you and says, Lysandros, do you have someone special?
Once, a long time ago now.
I can tell that you're a man with a big heart to come here and make sure that I'm doing well. It's often those who care the most that are the most lonely. I really appreciate you coming, Sandros. She puts her arm.
And I sort of, take her hand. It's almost kind of like I take her, gesture of sympathy. So take her hand, and I kind of like almost like a grandfatherly, or an elder would sort of take her hand and sort of continue, leading her, walking very very slowly, not that purposeful power walk, that I usually can be seen. It is kind of you to say, my dear. Do not concern yourself for me, but think to Kalos. Think it is rare that such feelings are allowed to blossom. It's a rare gift that must be cherished. He is an impulsive young man, as I'm sure you know quite well, but he means well and he cares for you deeply. He will need you to steady him on the path that is now set before him, and you. Well, you have both made this choice. Though it has no doubt been hard for you, I have faith. I know that it was the right one. And I smile, at her again with that familial air as best as I can muster.
She nods her head and kind of smiles nervously, perhaps betraying a little bit that yeah, she is nervous about her new surroundings, and that she's pretty much given up everything. So this flash of worry does come across her face, and she does look up at you and nod and say, yeah, I know that Kalos will take care of me. He is a good man, and I know he cares for me just as deeply as I do for him.
And I nod. Good. I'm glad to hear that you are well. I wish to make things as comfortable and amicable for you as I can. If you require anything,
You'll be the first person I come to, Lysandros.
I sort of pat the top of her hand as I'm sort of holding that, and I let her go, and I give her a just wanted to check up kind of deal, and I bring her back to
she might actually give you like a small hug as you're parting, as if she's really trying to get this familial relationship built up.
I'll of course return. I won't just be cold. I'm trying to butter her up in a way just as much to make sure she's playing by the rules and make sure where her loyalties lie. But
she's almost trying to do the same thing to you. So it's almost like you're both kind of trying to play each other a little bit there.
That's fine. So I get that, but she's not. From my perceptions, she might be worried and has some doubt, which is understandable, but she's not outright nothing serious. So that's fine. That's fine by me. So just wanted to check up on Ms. Carini.
All right, and I think with that we're moving out of hyperspace. Is that correct, or did you guys have anything else during the journey?
Nope, don't think so.
All right. So yes, Sulpicio will guide you out of the warp, back into the material world, as opposed to the immaterium, which you've been traveling through for this past month. And of course, there's a lot of adjusting of ship systems. You have to come into real space beyond the gravity well of the star. So it takes about a week to fly back in. And in the meantime, of course, your long distance communication is just a buzz. You're getting news reports in. You're getting personal messages, mail, delivery. Perhaps if there's anything absolutely vital, a high-speed courier could be dispatched, although that's pretty rare. But it does take about a week for you to fly in. Now, in that time, it probably wouldn't take very long for you to be identified. I believe, Lysandros, you'd be receiving a very important message to be relayed to Kalis.
Mm-hmm.
So do you approach him with that, or do you perhaps put it off to someone else, to Sulpicio, perhaps?
Oh no.
I think he would certainly prefer if you would deliver it.
Oh, absolutely.
Would
Yeah. Most definitely.
All right. So how do you approach Kalis with that message then?
Just to confirm, which message is this?
The very important messages
Okay, got
that
it.
you're receiving from Port Faux, where Kalis's father Lucius, no doubt has sent this message ahead for his son. He's heard, oh, my son is coming to me. Kalis is probably expecting a message from his father. But I believe what you actually receive is very important news about his father. And
Okay.
his father has not sent a message personally for some reason. Perhaps this message will explain why Lucius himself is not contacting the Tempestus.
Oh no. This is the bad news.
The bad news.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, no doubt. So, I'm at the ready. I'm expecting this. I know when we're about to, when we're supposed to be exiting the Immaterium. I'm at the ready, and I see this message. I read it. I read it once. And I read it again. Or do I get it in a text form, or do I assume I must?
I was imagining that someone would actually make contact with you and explain everything they knew about it.
Okay, then I go to that.
Either one of the underlings, or maybe even the planetary governor himself, or one of the underlings of Lucius.
No, so I take it either the comms or the person. I take it in my office, in my I punch the comm link, for the planetary governor or whoever is to deliver this message unto me, so that I can deliver it to Kalis. So, Governor, it's good to see you again. I trust all is well.
Well, we could probably just skip through that, Nick. You know the content, the message, for you to deliver it to
Yes.
Kalis directly.
Okay. Just checking that that's the one. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought that's what you meant.
You're
All right.
killing me.
No, sorry.
Build up the suspense some more. Dick, go on.
So I take like more time than I am rarely late. I probably told Kalis to be ready. Don't be doing whatever you're hanging with the men, the training, whatever it is you've been doing with Syntech. But I take a long amount of time in my quarters, in my office, absolutely reeling with this news, processing it. But I show up to I ask one of the people where Kalis is, and I go marching with purpose. And Kalis, where are you that we might have our scene?
So it's taken you so long to get it for me. I was all ready to go. Seeing what my mildly curious what my father had to say about the whole thing. How he's been doing, but I've been overworking myself so much that I'm kind of on the overstuffed couch that's really probably too comfortable, and I'm sitting on it and my head is like kind of a little bit back and I'm kind of vaguely snoring. But
Of course.
Yeah.
Then you hear that buzzer, outside your door or whatever.
I like start awake, like that feeling like, oh shit, how long have I been asleep for? Yes, come in.
And in walks Lysandros. And we've known each other for so long that you immediately know, despite my stony exterior, that something is wrong. You've never seen that look of concern, of worry, that loss of face. I'm still holding it, but you could tell I've been my skin is clammy, my brows are heavy, and something's wrong. Taylor.
So I look very blurry-eyed. Again, just tired. I have these large bags under my eyes. I kind of look at you vaguely and then kind of look again. God, Emperor Lysandros, what's the matter? You look like you've seen a warp spirit or something of that nature. What did my father have to say? Is everything all right?
I received the communications from the planetary governor as was expected. So we had intended to rendezvous with your father, that we might be reunited and after this excursion. And I go over to where I know you keep some sort of booze, and I pour a glass and I give it to you.
I'm a sec.
No. I can't have any more. I feel like I'm gonna nod off again.
Take it.
And I kind of look at you like, oh man, this must be serious. Yes, of course, Lysandros. Now tell me what's going on.
Your father is dead, along with the rest of the bridge crew that remained behind. Do not know why yet. There was an explosion aboard the shuttlecraft, taking them planet side.
I kind of stare at you for a couple seconds. There doesn't seem to be like any visible emotion. You said that. No, you must be mistaken. Dead? I kind of like chuckle vaguely. You mean it? This is not. Well, how? What? You said a shuttle? Shuttle incident?
I know little at the moment, though I am moving as we speak to learn as much as possible. We will rendezvous as soon as the ship is in range. There's a shuttle explosion. Father, Confessor, Master at Arms, and the rest of the bridge crew that are not now present, all lost. While the governor has been forthcoming, I am not certain that there was not involvement on his end. You are the captain now, Kalis. Do you understand?
Again, I'm kind of looking at you, but not really looking at you. In my mind, of course, things are kind of racing through as they do. He's dead. Shuttle accident. Bridge crew gone. There's just, again, this just long, very uncomfortable pause. Well, I suppose there's a lot for me to do then. And I kind of stand somewhat awkwardly. Yes. Thank you.
As soon as you stand, shakingly, like I immediately, like I put a hand, firm, not like forcing you, but firm. One hand on your shoulder, the other on your arm, sort of steadying you, but as you maybe move to go listlessly to whatever it is you think you're going to do. And I look at you like sort of just forcing you to still yourself. This has happened, Kalis. You and I both know that there are no accidents in this galaxy.
Yes, I understand, Lysandros. That's why there are things that need to be done immediately. This may not be contained to this shuttle.
Kalis.
And I kind of like pause, like maybe there was a slight break. Lucius was not always a careful man, as he should have been. There may be things aboard this vessel. This may be an intricate plot to see, perhaps by the Perticus, to see me dead for good, to see this dynasty buried.
Kalis.
No! Lysandros, there are things I must do. There's no time. And I kind of like, again, I almost like roughly brush your hands off and click, 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 storm out of my room.
I mean, I hold firm, like onto your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, I will. Yeah. I will push you if necessary off. Enough, Lysandros. Get off of me.
Kalis,
I am not a child anymore.
but your eyes must be open before you do what it is you must do. You must not let emotion overcloud you in this. We are at our weakest. Push down those feelings. For now, there's time.
I understand.
And
There
our
are no
enemies are many.
emotions. There are no emotions. It's not time. There's no time. There are things to be done. I understand this, Lysandros. I'm not a child anymore. I know what needs to be done. There are security measures to be taken. And I go over to one of the brass troops. Syntek!
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yep, I'm here.
Syntek! There is
Yes.
urgent business that I must give to you. And again, you can hear this. There's something, again, definitely wrong. I'm normally a very soft, gentle tone. That's completely gone. It's the hard edge of a starship captain is definitely
Yes, my
lost.
lord.
You must immediately see to it that your security do a thorough sweep of this vessel. There's an urgent security matter that must be taken. See to it that you find anything aboard this vessel that could pose an imminent danger to the crew and to myself.
My lord, I do that as my everyday course.
Are
I
you
will.
alone, Syntek?
Speak? What do you say?
Are you alone, Syntek?
Yes.
Know that do not spread this further past your ears, but my father is dead. Supposedly in some sort of shuttle accident. I need you to do a thorough sweep of this vessel immediately. See to it also that you contact. No, I shall do it myself. See to it that you find anything that may be aboard this vessel immediately. Anything that is out of place. The dynasty is in danger. It is in your hands now, Syntek. See to it that you do it with utmost precision and swiftness.
We cannot afford a panic aboard this vessel. Kalis.
Captain
No.
Loretti,
Of course not.
give me a moment to spread this message among my troops, and it will
No.
be done as you say.
Yes. Do not pass word of my father's demise. That
No.
is only for your ears.
Exactly. I will do as you say, and then I will pass that message along to all my troops, all 200 or whatever I have in my command, to spread out and to report anything that is out of the ordinary. By the way, I will station them by all points that are weak, all airlocks, whatnot, and all those things I will do, because my troops and I know all the weak points of the ship, and that is what I will do.
Know also that
Those lost.
the chief,
Shuttle explosion will have to be.
yes,
replacements
all
made.
bridge officers were lost as well that were with my father, including your superior as well. Know that you, sir, are now in charge of security for the dynasty. God Emperor be with you, sir.
My lord, I have already dispatched our troops to all locations to protect this ship and our dynasty. Even now, they are going to their positions to protect us. You've sprung this upon me all of a sudden, and I have no context What has happened, my lord?
As I said, it seems that it is a shuttle accident. The planetary governor may be in on it. It is important that you trust no one. See to that you do this immediately.
I answer only
Captain out.
immediately to you.
And I close the speaking tube immediately. Like, I don't have time for bullshitting around. So I move over and grab the next pipe. Pius! Chief Engineer Pius, report.
It was his day off. No, he does.
Not anymore.
He does report in. Actually, before we jump to Pius, let's stick with Syntech just for a moment. What's your reaction? So he's told you, my father is dead. Your superior officer's dead. You're the master at arms. Sweep the ship. And then he hangs up on you. What's Syntech's reaction? What's the look on his face?
I'm flabbergasted because, the plans were that we would meet up with the Lord Captain, and the Kalis was the acting Lord Captain. So I'm flabbergasted for a few seconds, but at the same time, if Kalis says that his father is compromised, then I would absolutely, communicate to my troops and whatnot to secure the ship in every way possible. And I'm confused, but at the same time, I'm following orders because Kalis is the captain right now, and no matter what he says, I'm going to make sure that everything is as secure as possible. I'll spread my men out on every airlock, and I'll spread my men out to where they need to be.
Absolutely. So yes, we'll come back then to Kalis. Sorry, I just want to get the reaction shot. As you said, you're contacting Pius, the engine seer, next. That's correct.
Yes.
And what's your missive to him?
Chief Engineer Pius, report.
Yes, my lord.
There's urgent business I need you to take care of. It seems that spread this to no one. Keep it to yourself. It seems that my father, the bridge officers,
is advised to be sharing this aboard the Vox system.
I know what I am doing, Lysandros. And I turn angrily to him.
Okay.
This is important, need to know information.
We can assemble a bridge officer meeting. I can do it at your immediate order.
There's no time for that. This must be taken care of immediately if there is something planted on this vessel.
Can I ask you a question? Am I privy to everything?
No, this conversation, no, he already hung up on you.
All right.
I'd imagine Pius is on hold as well. He's like,
Yeah.
what the...
He's hearing Babe shouting in the background. Lysandros. And I kind of put my hand over the tube. Lysandros, this is important. It must be taken care of immediately. There's no time to summon bridge officers. We will do that later. However, at this very moment, there could be saboteurs aboard our vessel, perhaps even guards in the vestments of tech priests. We need to know that we are not being sabotaged. Do you understand, Lysandros?
I simply nod. By your
Thank
order, my captain.
For a moment, I look at you, making sure, seeing that you were with my father longer than I was. I look at you in a way, making sure that, you are emotionally stable enough to be, thinking. Because like at this moment, there's no emotion about what I'm doing at all. It's
Right.
just
And while
clear
so we
orders.
know each other enough, you in that exchange, you can probably pick up that I'm sort of gauging you the same way. It's funny, your emotionlessness is worrying me, and yet when I say my captain,
Mhm.
there's there's something in that. There's that passing of the torch in as brief and as brusque and as short as a message, as a phrase that is. That dutiful high factotum stands at the ready.
Very good. I give you a nod then, and I turn back to the tube. Chief Engineer Pius, I have a very important thing. My father, it seems, has passed away, along with many of the bridge officers with him, in a shuttle accident. I do not believe for a second that this happened, that this was an accident. The planetary governor may be in on it. I need you to immediately scan the ship's systems and see if you find any hint of a saboteur within them. Any hint of one of your brothers wanting to see this dynasty brought low. It could be that someone wishes to do our dynasty finally in. Can you do this, Pius?
Yes, my lord, Kalis, it shall be. I'm so sorry.
Do
But
not be
it
sorry. Do your work, sir. I am counting on you. And again,
shall be as you command.
and I Captain out. And I slam that down. Lysandros, see to it that once bring the rest of the bridge officers, those of importance, bring them immediately to the bridge at their soonest convenience. We shall approach Port Falx and investigate what has really happened here. And if there's any hesitation, I say, immediately, Mr. Avenarius. And
Okay, so I was about to say, as you say that, I do it.
All right. And I stomp out, click, 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 that, and with every step I take, I feel this anger in me. How dare that man? How dare he die before his time? And there's that bang, bang, bang down the corridor, stomping, fuming. I'm angry with my father. How dare he do this? How dare he leave far too soon when he is desperately needed? What a fool of a man! And I bang my hand against a bridgehead, and there's this bong.
I'm imagining a servitor shambling down the corridor, and you just clock it in the face as you're walking by.
I just knock him aside so he hits the side of the deck, and
okay, you just push the
just knock him
servitor out of the way.
as he this shambling brainless automaton. Father, he would do this. He would be reckless and stupid, get himself killed in such a dishonorable, unthinking fashion. But of course, this is all in my mind. None of this comes out. But as I stomp towards the lift to bring me to the bridge.
All right.
And I assemble the bridge crew immediately. There is no at their convenience. there is no convenience. This is happening now, or as soon to now as is possible.
All right. Do we want to do the bridge crew meeting now, or should we end session there, and that way Micah can be present at that meeting?
We do need a new confessor. I think it would. I'm fine either way, but I think it would be a good thematic opening for Micah to be there, to be brought into all that's happened.
I would tend to agree.
Well, me too. But why don't we take the time to just describe everything that's happening? Everything right now.
Well, I mean, if possible, I would love to do a kind of a soliloquy thing and just run off what's going on in Lysandros' head. But I'll save that to the end if there's active things that people want to do. I won't spotlight that.
Well, I could certainly go through and say the summons is coming up. Of course, various crew members have their own spies, their own informants who have been whispering to them from Port Falx already. So we could see certainly Astrogator Sulpicio, in his quarters, and he might have like a framed photograph of himself and Lucius, smiling. Perhaps Sulpicio's a decade younger in the photo, but there's this cocksure grin on both their faces. Perhaps they're slightly inebriated in the photo, and Sulpicio just sitting in his quarters, surrounded by opulence, decadence, the thick carpets, the silk hangings, and it's just tears pouring down his face, and he's almost shaking with sobs, trying not to sob out loud, as he's thinking about it, who is in his mind. I mean, this is like his best friend, and perhaps no one even knows how close they were, but he's just devastated. And then the comm activates, and it's Lysandros saying, Sulpicio, we need you on the bridge in the conference room. It's a meeting of urgent importance immediately. And then just hangs up on him, and he just looks at it with the puppy dog eyes, and he's just trying to steel himself to get up and to move forward and come into that situation. Pius would certainly be going about his duty mechanically, but with a new weariness in his physique, as his body language is, and he's drained and devastated by this news, but very concerned at the same time for his ship, for the machine spirits on board. I don't know if anyone else would actually have any spies other than Sulpicio. Not that it's spies even, but it's probably just gossip in his case. Everyone else just kind of moving about their business. The bridge crew being assembled, not terribly unusual coming into the star system. So still unconscious about the news that's about to break. Was there anything else you wanted a review of, Russ, that's going on the ship?
Well, I mean, it depends. It's acting captain, if he would pass it down to his military, basically, on the ship, or his fighting force, then yes. But if not, then no.
All right. Yeah, he's told you, and he told Pius, and of course Lysandros was the one who the governor contacted. So nobody else really knows except Sulpicio. Although you don't necessarily know that he knows, but you'll know when you see his face next at the meeting. So we can go then into your closing then, Nick.
So I've gathered the bridge crew. I've hailed them all individually over the Vox. And in the moments, the minutes before that meeting takes place. I'm there in my quarters, standing against the far wall, straight, rigidly, every joint and every muscle locked in an almost rigor mortis, the level of strain, the sparse nature of my surroundings, that pale antiseptic glow that illuminates this place, giving it that otherworldly, the lack of shadows, making it almost disturbingly pristine. No sound, save for the low hum of those lights, of those fluorescent-esque lamps. But in my mind, it is utterly silent, save for that low hum. I hear the sounds of engines screaming, of bolters firing, of machinery coming apart, explosions, the screams of the dying, the screams of the murderers, in one cacophonous storm, as I am back decades into the past, that day, that botched mission, that operation that I thought was so smooth, but how wrong I was. I feel that pain of the wound, and I touch my clavicle underneath my coat and my shirt, and beneath all of that, I feel that scar which seems to flare up in me now, as that migraine, perhaps sensing my own weakness or my own emotional strain, pressing down on me even harder. I move over to my desk. I take more of the pills that I have to dull that pain. I wash it down with my own stock, my own alcohol that I have here, which is not good to do, but I do it anyway. I relive those moments. I see the face much younger, myself much younger. It's Lucius and the tempestuous first visitation, how he saved me. As I bring myself back to the present, think back to the leering eyes of the Perdiccas, and think back to those same eyes I've seen just a month ago now. When I move over to that footlocker, that chest, that safe I have at the far end, I stand over it for several moments. And slowly, almost reverently, I open it. And there's assortment of my own past, my own belongings, but there is beneath that a deeper compartment, a hidden compartment, which I disengage. Click of the locks and the sound of smooth oiled metal as that container opens up. And we see the camera to my back as I loom over whatever is within. We fade to black.
All right, so why don't you guys sign out for a viewing audience, and we'll end broadcast of session 4 of the Lost Colonies.
All right. I'm Andrew, of course. as always. And this one I will definitely do a video for the video diary, a captain's log, very important. So we will see you next time.
And do you want to sign out as well, Nick? Just again,
Oh, that's right.
who are you? Where are you from? What's
we
your
lost,
channel
We
name?
lost our master of
We
arms.
lost Russ.
I am Nick Wadati. And once again, for those interested, I have a YouTube channel, Ferric Zorn, with an X. And I will try to do a follow-up solo video. We will see what is in the mystery chest of Lysandros Avenarius when we meet next time.
All right, excellent. And I have, as always, been your host and game master, David Daniel Ducker from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And if you're watching this, you're already on my channel, so I don't need to plug that. But I do want to thank our excellent viewers and our more than excellent players. I'm sorry Russ couldn't stick around to say goodbye to y'all, but I know it means a whole lot to him to be here as well. So until we all get together once again, good night and good gaming.